Gotta get out there.
There's a protest outside. I mean, we hear a lot of the noise.
It's always something in this city. I think that was a some sort of pro-Palestine march. They like to go down Broadway. You gotta show the love, you know? All right. One more question?
It's actually about that.
Okay, let's get into it.
Can you just explain what happened there?
Yeah, so that was like a anti-Israel march going down Broadway. And, you know, when that happens, I like to wave either my American flag or an Israeli flag or some combination of both.
How do you think about your platform and speaking out about that, given how polarizing it is?
Well, I think it's challenging, and I've never been one to hold my tongue, and I think that exasperates for me sort of the frustration in speaking out against anti-Semitism, because, you know, long before I spoke out against anti-Semitism, I was quick to speak out, you know, for pro-LGBTQ rights, and I was very loud in speaking out in my support of African Americans and why it's important that you know, we stand up if there's a moment in this country where like our fellow Black Americans are feeling like they're being unfairly treated. I've never held my tongue. So when it becomes about anti-Semitism, you know, for me, it's certainly, it's different, because I think everyone only is able to truly understand prejudiceness through which the lens they experience it. I'm no idea what it's like. I can imagine, but I have no idea what it's like to be Black in a place where somebody might be judging you because of the color of your skin. I don't know that. But I know what it's like to be treated differently because I'm Jewish. So it's unique to me, and I feel like I can speak on that in a different way. What's really challenging is that I do support Israel, and I love Israel, and I've been there, and I love Israelis. I don't understand Israeli politics. You know, I don't, if you say Netanyahu's a bad guy, okay. Like, I think that we've had really bad presidents too. I think we have a lot of bad leaders in this country. Criticize them. If you say I don't like the way that Israel is prosecuting a war, I say, okay, I'm not a general. That's fair. I don't like the way that we marched into Iraq. I don't like reading about the shit that we did in Vietnam. That's fair. Criticize that. If you say that Palestinians deserve dignity and rights in their own country, I say, hell yeah, they do. Hell yeah, they do. Like, Palestinians deserve all of that. You know, one of my lab mates at MIT was from Gaza. Love the guy, but I also support Israel. And I think what's so complicated and so frustrating about this conversation is that you're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to say that I want innocent people that live in Palestine to not be suffering, and I want them to have good lives. But I also believe, I don't just believe, I'm convicted in the fact that Israel has every right to exist, and that when attacked, Israel has every right to protect itself and to fight back. And those two things you're not allowed to say those two things. In the same way that you're not allowed to say, like, you know, I think the Democrats are doing some stupid stuff that I don't appreciate, but I also think that the Republicans are dipshits for doing stupid stuff that I don't appreciate. I don't like the way that the Democrats handle some criminal justice reform, because I think you're letting too many criminals out. I can say that about the Democrats. I don't like that the Republicans, the way that they address women's reproductive rights. I can say that about both sides, but you're not allowed to say that. And you're not allowed to say that you think that there are good people in Palestine and that you support the state of Israel. If I went down there and tried to say that to those people screaming, marching down the street, they would not be receptive to that conversation. And that is really hard. It's really hard because I'm not down there on the street having this conversation with 20 people. I'm on the internet saying it to 1 million people. And it's really hard. It's super hard to have that conversation, and it's frustrating. So it's not hard to speak up. It's hard to try to reconcile that we can't be civil and have an honest conversation about such a volatile, dangerous, personal matter.
How do we start to at least have that conversation?
I don't know, trying my best, you know. I know for me personally that I no longer engage with people that I don't think are willing to hear. I know that I'm very open-minded, and I'm willing to hear whatever it is you have to say, no matter how much I disagree with it. I'm willing to hear your argument. And sometimes people convince me, and I change my perspective. I really do. It's happened a bunch in my life. But you can usually tell in the first heartbeat of meeting someone if they're going to be receptive to hearing, being open-minded. And if they're not, I immediately walk away. Otherwise, I can just stand and argue with that door right there. It's not going to help me. It's going to make me angry and frustrated. I won't lose an ounce of sleep over that. If I was, realistically, there would be violence if I went down there with an Israeli flag. Though they're not, I don't mean to generalize. Perhaps there are people down there that would be willing to engage in conversation. But in my experience, because I go to a lot of counter protests, there's no willingness to engage in a conversation. So when that's the case, I walk away.
Well, I appreciate you speaking up, Casey, and I'll give you the final word if there's any other thoughts. And just I appreciate just being so open and talking about so much. And I know how valuable your time is. So thanks for taking the time.
No, this is great. Yeah, this is fun. I mean, that was crazy. It's a helicopter. Welcome to New York City. Until next time.
Thanks, Casey.
Of course.
Appreciate you, man.